Good day, everyone. We will discuss the one of the UNESCO ICT Competency Framework for Teachers, which is the organization and administration. So, what is administration and organization? The concept of administration and organization are closely related to each other. In a sense, the object of both organization and administration is the control of human and other resources in the accomplishment of predetermined objectives. Organization and administration exist together, and they are not separable. If organization is regarded as a structure, then organization becomes a process. It can be argued that if organization is concerned with the formal aspect of administration, administration is directing process carried on within the organizational setting. It is claimed that such a conceptualization, to a certain extent, exaggerate the static properties of organization. The fact is that organizations are subject to change and they are always changing. When the definition of organization is taken into consideration, it is obvious that it implies a certain stability. So, what was the fifth aspect of ICT framework is all about? This aspect suggests ways to manage the school's digital asset as well as to safeguard the people who use them. In the knowledge acquisition level, the emphasis is on organization and physical environment, such as computer labs and classroom, to support effective use of ICT for learning. In the subsequent level, the emphasis moved to creating an environment to facilitate collaborative learning, turning the school into a learning organization, supporting learning outside the classroom, and even building virtual learning environment that support flipped classroom and pervasive education. This accept also compasses how teacher can support the development of ICT plans to actualize the school technology strategy.
Objective 1 is to organize students and ICT in a learning environment. Teachers can use Microsoft PowerPoint presentation to prepare electronic presentations about their lectures. These electronic presentations can be shown on multimedia and sound projectors in classroom. It is an interesting and simple method to learn for students. Multimedia presentations are easy to deliver for teachers, also as these presentations spare a great deal of time and effort. Objective 2 is to support small groups and individuals to use digital devices in the classroom. Not all students have access to some digital devices aside from smartphones, which are the most common for students to use as their technological tools. To address this inconvenience for the students, when a teacher has a limited numbers of computers or handheld devices available for group activities and students have to share, consider assigning specific roles to group members. If everyone has a specific job to do, it makes it much easier for students to focus on the learning goal. Objective 3 is to monitor and protect hardware and software in the school environment. For teachers to monitor and have control over the usage of the accessible and available computers in labs or libraries, they should put restrictions on which sites and apps students can access for better usage of the computers. And for the security of the files, there should be an antivirus installed. Technology can make static lesson more dynamic, promote self-directed learning, encourage collaboration, and support differentiated instruction. As technology continues to evolve, educational software and trusted online resources will continue to enhance traditional methods of teaching to keep students empowered and engaged. Objective 4 is to identify appropriate technologies including mobile devices and pair with corresponding social arrangement to support learning goals. Students can practice collaboration skills by getting involved in different online activities. For instance, working on different projects by collaborating with others on forums or by sharing documents on their virtual learning environments. Technology can encourage collaboration with students in the same classroom, same school, and even with other schools around the world. Technology integration empowers students to come together and partake in screen sharing and grouping, which further engages them in their educational goals.
So here is the first objective. Access, evaluate, and disseminate digital resources to support student-centered and social interaction. This objective is trying to say that teachers need to be organized and flexible to this reality, which trying different tools and assessing student learning and engagement as they do. And to achieve the first objective, here's an example activity. Teachers will organize technology and determine which tools to use and how to use them, so that they could disseminate information that would be helpful for learners in deepening their knowledge. So let's move on to the second objective, which is access, evaluate, organize, and disseminate digital resources to support students with disabilities. As technologies are becoming more advanced, students with disabilities are becoming less actively involved in the learning process. That is why the 21st century learning pushes teachers to be able to create their learning in such way that they can prepare students, all types of students, in an active and collaborative learning environment. And to be able to achieve the second objective in knowledge deepening, the teacher should organize technology to check and support the learning of the students with disabilities, collaborate and communicate effectively with the parents and families of the learner. So on the third objective, which is manage student project-based learning activities in a technology-enhanced environment. Technology can help to create an active and collaborative environment in which students not only solve problems but also find their own problem and able to achieve the third objective in knowledge deepening. The teacher should organize a technology and a group activity that will let the students do a group research where they could or should use a different digital technology platforms to find answers to their problems that they form. And for the fourth objective, devise an ICT integration strategy for their subject department. It is vital for the teachers to understand how their students learn with ICT. An alignment between technology and teachers is required to attain a successful integration of technology in learning progress. And in able to achieve that objective, here is an example activity that the teacher should do. Analyze the situation, create collaborative technology-rich learning environment, and understand how students learn with ICT to ensure that you as a teacher enable students to involve actively and collaboratively on the learning process. And for the fifth and last objective in knowledge deepening, which is set up digital communication mechanisms so that the school can disseminate information to the widest its school community. One of the advantages of new technologies in 21st century learning and in communication is that it makes communicating easier, faster, and has a wider range and access. And for the teacher to achieve the last objective in knowledge deepening, here's an example activity to that. The school organization and administration will create a group page as a way to easily disseminate information to the wider school community. A group page where they can give updates for coming events or share thoughts that interrelated to the deepening of knowledge of the learners. In this activity, the students and other members of administrations would benefit to it. Less effort, but as useful as it is.
Organize digital knowledge building environments to enhance teaching and learning. Technology in education enables children to adjust to their own pace of learning. Children often struggle to stay on task or interested, particularly if it is not interactive. Organizing digital knowledge with the help of technology can make learning environment more engaging, which will help the students to stay focused. Example that can be used is to experiment with and evaluate different knowledge building technology options and determine the implications for the school in adopting each. Evaluate tools and platforms such as an LMS, social networking groups, and collaborative writing platforms. Devise a strategy to implement a school technology integration plan. In schools, districts, and departments of education alike, a trend toward integrating technology into the education process is on the rise. Utilizing different types of technology in the classroom, including a virtual classroom, creates learners who are actively engaged with learning objectives. The implementation of technology also creates pathways for differentiated instruction to meet the unique needs of students as individual learners within a broader classroom climate. In creation, we can lead or advise management in the development of a strategy to manage school ICT. Consider developing an ICT budget, auditing existing ICT equipment, projecting future ICT needs, creating a maintenance strategy, and determining staff training requirements and what support the wider community could provide. Identify and set up digital planning tools to support organization and administration of schools. Having a plan for digital tools provide a way to implement text, images, audio, and video for an immersive experience. For example, a video or movie maker is considered a digital tool that can use to help students create a movie to help explain a concept they're learning. Other digital tools and resources include word processing documents, slide presentation, software. Knowing this, it will help the school to plan what will be the use for their schools. We can also evaluate school management software to see what is the best suitable option for the school. Foster a reciprocal flow of information between all schools stakeholders via school communication channels. Improving school communications while being realistic about resources might be the greatest challenge facing now and just about every other school communicator. By the time you factor in the tools, training, time, staffing, and tech support, staying current with all these channels can be challenging if not cost prohibitive. Evaluation can help because evaluating a school communication channels between stakeholders enhance the mechanism that ensure information flows both well.
There are 3 levels when it comes to the ICT competency framework for teachers. These are the knowledge acquisition, knowledge deepening, and knowledge creation. When it comes to the aspect 5 of the ICT framework, which is the organization and administration, in knowledge acquisition, the teacher's competency is teachers can organize the physical environment. This is to ensure that technology will support the different learning methodologies in an inclusive manner. It means that the teachers can and must have the competency in ensuring, organizing, and administering a classroom that uses technology in the learning and teaching process. This classroom should accommodate all students and ensure that information and the use of ICT is accessible for everyone. Thus, the curricular goal for teachers is to organize and administer a standard classroom. It means that the teachers must know how to adjust the spatial placement or arrangement of things in the classroom. That is helpful and appropriate in the coordination of ICT into the lesson that promotes a learning environment that all students will be accommodated and everyone have an access. In knowledge deepening, the teacher's competency is the teachers can use digital tools flexibly to facilitate collaborative learning. This is to ensure that the teachers can manage the students, other learning partners, and can administer the learning process with the use of ICT in the classroom to organize a collaborative learning. Thus, the curricular goals for teachers is to organize and administer a collaborative groups. It means that the teachers can and must know how to use ICT in the classroom to promote a collaborative type of learning. A collaborative learning is a type of learning that involves joint intellectual efforts of the students or the students and the teachers together. Usually, students can work in pair, in small groups, by team, or can be the whole class. In addition, students can not only work with their peers collaboratively but also people outside their classroom, such as their parents, school admins, other students in different year level, the community, and etc. To simply put, teachers can and must know how to use ICT to organize students working in groups with their peers and other learning partners inside and outside their classroom. In knowledge creation, the teacher's competency is play a leadership role in devising a technology strategy. This is to ensure that the schools will turn into a learning organizations. It means that the teachers must have the competency in inventing, developing, creating, and formulating a technology strategy to turn the school into a learning organization. That is to turn the school in developing and sharing a vision centered of using ICT for the learning of all of the students. Thus, the curricular goal for the teacher is to organize and administer the school as a learning organization which all of the actors are involved in the learning process, not only the students and teachers, but also other people that shares responsibilities in the school, such as the parents, principals, school admins, and etc., to plan out different technological strategy that will help the teaching and learning process.